2015. Experts from the USA Environmental Protection Agency found that more than 500,000 diesel-powered cars were occupied with software that allowed them to circumvent environmental standards. And so it's very bad for our environment.
Yeah.
What are the forces that are causing companies to become more sensitive to environmental issues? If companies make non-recycled products, this can lead to garbage accumulation and environmental pollution. What was Volkswagen's position on the environment, and what did the company do to ensure that the stakeholders, customers, employees, society, in total, as a result of the diesel scandal, Volkswagen carmaker recalled more than 105 million Volkswagen cars in Germany, 2.5 million vehicles of other brands belonging to the Volkswagen concern were also recalled to Germany, and almost 11 million around the world. This scandal caused a serious crisis in which the German automobile concern suffered billions of financial losses. Now, I will describe the nature of competition in the global automobile industry. The internal combustion engine, это то есть двигатель внутреннего сгорания, is very reliable, and the more modern one is very expensive. Therefore, they will look better and cheaper compared to other cars. What was some of Volkswagen's first responses to the scandal? Volkswagen company said that the company would be cooperating with the investigation and wouldn't comment on the situation. What should the company do, and in the future, to deal with the scandal beyond what has already been done? Some people, nevertheless, will buy Volkswagen's cars, but the company should modernize its technologies and follow the rules. And moreover, produce recycled products. What can companies do to prevent scandals such as the one Volkswagen faces? Now, a number of countries have accelerated their introduction in the long term, between 2025 and 2040, of a complete ban on the sale of cars with internal combustion engines, both diesel and all others. Should Volkswagen stop producing diesel engines completely? I believe that the company should stop producing diesel engines because it destroys our atmosphere. What are Volkswagen's strengths and weaknesses? Volkswagen plus of Volkswagen is reliability and security. And there are a lot of minuses. For example, due to the closure of factories in German cities, the quality has significantly decreased. It uses gasoline, which means oil, and natural resources are not endless. That's why it's bad for our environment. Volkswagen had a strong and successful growth strategy in place before the scandal. What should its growth strategy be going forward after the main effects of the scandal have been addressed?
Okay.
The company should prove by its actions that it cares about the environment and creates high quality products. That's all.
That's all. So the first comment on your presentation is good, but you read everything from the slides. We
Mm.
need to know the highlights, like what was the scandal and what's happening. Like, could you please like take it in a brief in maybe in 30 seconds? What was the scandal of this company? The scandal was what?
For um, people knew, people believed that Volkswagen produce cars that are eco-friendly and they don't produce any toxic substances into our environment. But then they knew that Volkswagen cars are based on the um, what the internal combustion engine,
Okay,
and this engine is prohibited because it's very bad for our environment. That's why a lot of cars were, um, a lot of people all over the world discovered that Volkswagen um, lied to their uh, buyers and
okay, like cheating buyer, cheating the buyers by making
yeah,
like environmental catastrophe.
that's why it was a very big crisis, and
Okay.
a lot of cars should be mm,
Eco-friendly.
mm, should be, yes, eco-friendly. That's why Volkswagen lost its name for for some time.
Well, for several months, and after that, it appears again with new engines or with new mark. So, okay. As a student, do you have any question to Lisa concerning this company? No one has. So, okay, thank you so much, Lisa.
Сейчас мне вторую рассказать?
А, нет, давайте потом посмотрим
Хорошо.
другие.
Мгм.
Давай второй. Ну, кто будет дальше презентовать кейсы? Дорогие студенты, I don't want to call by names. Like we know only four people who did the
Давайте,
presentation.
давайте.
Хорошо, давайте.
The biggest commercial failure in the history. Edsel is a defunct automobile brand of Ford Motor. It was supposed to compete with Digital Motors and Chrysler in upper middle price.
Okay.
Так, сейчас. А как переключать? Вот так, да? Мгм. As Edsel marks the first launch of a new brand by a major American auto market since Mercury in 1939, Ford invested heavily in a year-long advertising campaign, um, leading consumers to believe that Edsel were the car of the future. While its model lines introduced several advanced features for its price segment. The 1958 launch of Edsel would become a symbol of a commercial failure. Historians have advanced several theories in an effort to explain Etzel's failure. Popular culture often false vehicle styling. Marketing experts hold Etzel's up as a supreme example of the corporate culture's failure to understand American consumers. Business analysts cite weak internal support for the product inside Ford's executive offices. According to author and Etzel scholar uh, John Dodge, an Etzel was the wrong car at the wrong time. Mm, second. Mm, One of the external forces working against the Etzel brand was the onset of an economic recession in late 1957. Ford Corporation also had a Lincoln yet. It was much better and not so much more expensive car that had already recommended itself in the automobile sphere. Ford Motors had conducted the right marketing study, but it came up with the wrong product to fill the gap between Ford and Mercury. Uh, um, the Ford company expected to sell at least 200,000 Etzels in the first years, but in the range from 1957 to 1959, they made only 110,000 cars, and even not half of them were sold. Mm. By 1958, buyers had become fascinated with economic cars, and a large car like an Edsel was seen as too expensive to buy and own. When Ford introduced the Falcon in 1959, it sold over 400,000 units in its first year. Ford's investment uh, in expanded plant capacity and additional tooling for Edsel helped make the company success with Falcon possible. Mhm. Um, in conclusion, they following a loss over 250 million dollars development, manufacturing, and marketing on model line. Quietly they continued the Edsel brand before 1960. So,
Okay. What the make what what makes or what create hinders or challenges to do this uh, to afford to get new consumers because they have some problems or some challenges they didn't expect that this car will fail, like what the causes of failure of this
yeah, I
like
said
new
it's,
change.
yeah, yeah, understood the
Yeah,
question. It was wrong car in the wrong time. I mean, it was the end of the 15th in the USA, and in this country was economic crisis.
I
Uh,
think, yeah.
so consumers just couldn't afford to buy such expensive cars. Uh, this is the first reason. Second reason, it's that Ford um, Ford have already had Lincoln that was much better car in this segment. So they created a new one that should um,
Should meet. Should meet.
compete with each other, and it made some um, disbalance economic system in their automobile sphere.
Okay. uh, so, as a student, do you have any question to in? No one has. So, okay. No questions. Thank you so much. Dean,
Как убрать презентацию?
чего?
У вас презентация показывается или
Да,
ее надо убрать? Как ее
показывается.
убрать? Как ее убрать? Или не надо убирать?
Просто тебе, тебе нужно что? Не знаю. Там есть share. You should like you should be out of this like of because you are sharing your screen now. You should like go out from it.
А,
I don't know how, but yeah, you did it. So who will be the next?
так, все.
Я могу сейчас.
Хорошо, хорошо, Элина.
Так, сейчас я настрою тут.
Хорошо.
Все видно?
Да, да, видно.
Мгм. I'm going to tell you about the Amazon monopoly and the problem with Jeff Bezos' business model.
Okay.
What is a monopoly? A monopoly is when a single company and its products dominate an entire sector of industry. The company then has control of the whole market with the ability to set its own prices free of competition. Um, the first question is how to build a monopoly.
Yeah.
Um, First step, it is start small and monopolize as you go. Every startup is small at the start, but if you begin in an industry that is also small, it will be easier to monopolize. The second step is scale. Once you've dominated a sector of the industry, you can then move your way towards total domination of the industry and then related industries. This is what Amazon is doing with online retail. Um, and third step, create truly good products or services. The only way to maintain a competitive advantage against larger companies is to create products and services that they haven't even thought of. Big companies tend to lose their creativity because they're constantly trying to optimize everything that has already been built.
Okay.
Um, is it good or bad to be the only one in market without any competition in the marketplace? Um, I think the monopoly over all markets, it is not that good, um, because if markets com- mm, don't need to do a competition between each other, there will be a single store it will only set high prices because people will not be able to buy products from anyone else. Um, these are examples of monopolies. Google owns 89% of the global search market. Google is one of the largest monopolies in present in the world. The company, in fact, monopolizes several other different markets in the world. The second is American Tobacco Company. This company maintained a singular control over the supply of tobacco over the market. And Microsoft had a monopoly on home computer software in the 19th. The next question is how Amazon began and how it turns to monopoly. Um, Amazon was founded by Jeff Bezos in Washington on 1994. The company started as an online marketplace for books, um, but expanded to sell electronics, software, video games, furniture, food, toys. And then Amazon started bought and absorbed other companies. For example, Shopbop in 2006, Kiva System in 2012, Whole Foods Market in 2017. Um, the next question is there any law that can restrict monopoly and what is it? Yes, there is the competition law. It is a law that promotes or seeks to maintain market competition by regulating anti-competitive conduct by companies. Competition law is implemented through public and private enforcement. Competition law is known as antitrust law in the United States for historical reasons, and as anti-monopoly law in China and Russia. Um, what is the future of Amazon from my point of view? Um, however, there is the competition law. I think that Amazon will be the most important company of the 2020s because over the last 10 years, Amazon has become one of the most powerful, respected companies. Um, Amazon's logistics and shipping operations have become almost impenetrable modes that few other companies will ever have the resources or ability to match. And the company said in April 2020 it was spending um, it was spending um, eight eight $100 million in a single quarter to offer free one-day delivery for all Prime customers in the US. Um, Along the way, Amazon has become the second largest employers in the US. Mm, Money, almost a million employers, and creating a new stores like Automated Market, Amazon Go. These are the case to Amazon complete success and monopoly. And finally, what helps number one in the world in getting awareness. Amazon makes money through its retail, subscriptions, and web services, among other channels. Retail remains Amazon's primary source of revenue, with online and physical stores accounting for the biggest share. And also, um, I think it's very important that Amazon is sensitive to trends, yeah, and needs of the population and buyers. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Elena, for this presentation. So, uh, who gonna be the next? Who will present the case? У нас здесь Мушек, Ким тоже.
Да, но у меня немного другая тема, она отличается. Я могу рассказать. Сейчас.
У тебя нету презентации?
Есть.
Хорошо.
Сейчас.
Давайте.
Видно?
Нет, ничего. Сейчас. Да.
Видно? So I have a slightly different topic today. I want to tell you about books or movies. First,
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you history of books. So there was a time when there were no books. So in order to remember important information, people made notes in trees, on the walls of caves, and tied notes on a rope. So over time, people learned how to use clay. It was very convenient to write something on raw clay. Then these tablets were fired in a kiln. Clay books could contain hundreds of such tablets. People kept them in a wooden box. In ancient Egypt, Rome, and Greece, learned how to make books from papyrus. So, but over time, the papyrus began to crumble from moisture. So then people invented a new material for writing. It's parchment. It was made from animal skin, but this method of making books was very expensive, and poor people couldn't use it. Paper appeared only in the 10th century. The first sheet of paper was made in China, and paper
Yeah.
proved to be a convenient writing material, and its production was simpler and cheaper than other methods. Um, History of movie. In 1891, the Edison Company successfully demonstrated a prototype of the kinetoscope, which you can see on the first picture. It was enabled one person at a time to view moving pictures. Then the first public kinetoscope demonstration took place in 1893, and by 1894 the kinetoscope was a commercial success. The first to present projected moving picture to pay an audience were the Lumiere brothers in December 1895. They used a device of their own making, the cinematograph, which was a camera, a projector, and a film printer all in one. One second. So at first, films were very short, sometimes only a few minutes or less. They were shown at music halls or anywhere a screen could be set up and a room darkened. Subjects included local scenes and activities, views of foreign lands, and short comedies. The films were accompanied by lectures, music, and a lot of audience participation. Although they didn't have synchronized dialogue, they were not silent because a lot of people think that there were only silent films. And by 1914, several nations' film industries were established. At this time, Europe, Russia, and Scandinavia were dominant industries. By 1906, the principles of color separation were used to produce natural color, moving images with British Kinemacolor process, first presented to the public in 1909. Kinemacolor was usually used for documentary movies. Um, by the early 1930s, all feature-length movies were presented with synchronized sound, and by the mid 1930s, some were in full color too. During the 1930s and 40s, cinema was principal form of popular entertainment, with people often attending cinemas twice a week. So now I'm going to discuss what is better, books or movies. Um, so while reading, we construct our way through the book. We create a world of our own, and it makes a book better for each time when someone picks it up to read. It lives different life. So when you watch a movie, you don't have to do much construction. Everything is already set on screen for you, and all you have to do is sit and watch. So it's one point to reading. About convenience. Nowadays, we have really busy life and nobody has the time to sit and read a huge book. So for a lot of people, it's far more convenient to have the same information that given in a 2 hour movie. Though books deliver ideas in detail, movie does it faster. So it's one point watching a movie. Then about intellect. Reading broadens vocabulary, improves writing skills, and literacy in general. We have a well-known fact that kids who read books from an early age are better at spelling and writing. They find information text more quickly and make less mistakes than kids who don't read. Movies offer actions, not descriptions. So in a film, we hear people's dialogue and monologues, not their thoughts and feelings. About socializing, when we watch a movie, it's more like a social experience. So we have to spend time with our friends over a movie. It also helps us to bond more with them. We laugh together with our friends. And about theaters, it's the best hangout place. How a lot of people think, and it's a place where we can get a lot of memories with our friends. So I've reached a conclusion that both books and movies have their own pros and cons. So writing a book and making a film both requires creativity and hard work. So anyway, we should decide for our own what is better for us. But we are left to our opinion to love art more, whether it's books or movies. That's all.
Okay, as a student, do you have any question to Kim, this one, about books?
Uh,
As a student, do you have any question?
What are your favorite books?
my favorite book is Maze Runner. It has 3 parts, and it's like a fantastic story.
Okay. Uh, I think no questions at all now. Yeah. So Thank you so much, Kim Hisun.
спасибо.
So now we have Diana and Artyom and Mushig. They didn't do a presentation on the previous topic. So are you ready to present or not?
I can present.
You are here? Okay.
Do you see?
Yeah, we can see.
Yes. My presentation is about IBM's service core. IBM is an International Business Machine Corporation. It is an American company that specializes in providing help and consulting um, via internet, via cloud platform. For example, if you have a business and you not need consulting or um, uh, other services, you can contact IBM and get them in uh, with the help of internet.
Could you speak up, please? Yes.
IBM Service Corps is an initiative in which IBM workers travel all around the world to help developing markets and communities and learn new things and about the culture to promote IBM in these growing markets. Uh, it has been it was launched in 2008 and for more than 10 years it is uh, working. It has reached over 50 countries, and here you can see uh, more than $14 million raised for community. The way it works is IBM workers from America are selected and travel all around the world to help these communities. As you can see here, um, 500 workers annually are sent, and 9 out of 10 workers say that this program made them um, made their work more effective. Now, despite all of this, the service core is fairly limited. It is like about a thousand or a few thousand workers, maybe even less. And IBM is a big company, and what I would suggest is make this initiative more large scale and promote it more so not only IBM workers can have a chance at improving their job positions, but also these developing countries, but also give those developing countries the opportunity to reach out and be invested in IBM working for them and working with them.
Okay. So, do you have any question to Mushir about IBM services? So, no one has? Thank you so much. So, we have Diana Sergeyevna, Iana also, and we have Artyom. You don't know anything about them. They have problems.
Яна меня игнорирует, не отвечает.
Не отвечает. Хорошо. Диана. Диана, вы знаете что-то о нее? Нет? Никто не знает. Молчат. Хорошо. Тогда Артем. Он с вами, ну, учится, нет? Вы должны знать друг друга как-то. Хорошо, тогда сейчас уже сегодня 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 студентов уже презентовали кейсы на сегодня. И we will move on like on our today topics. So I hope you are ready for today topics. We have different stuff. It's not only from business or from politics, but from different discipline. To have an idea how the world now is going or is moving forward. So who gonna be the first one in today topics?
I can be the first.
Okay, Lisa. So come on.
I will show you some reasons why people should vote.
Okay.
Voting is a right, a privilege, and responsibility. Citizens vote long and hard to be able to vote, but some people don't bother to cast ballots on election day. The first reason is that vote matters. Many people justify their apathy by saying their vote doesn't matter, but there have been many elections decided to be a single vote. There are some cases when a vote was tied and the winner was decided by a coin flip. Do you really want your leader decided by the flip of a coin? Vote so you are one picking your leaders.
Okay.
The second reason is that the second reason to vote is to defend your personal social agenda. Politicians make laws that protect or restrict social freedoms. They include such controversial issues like capital punishments, civil rights, gay rights, and prayer in school. Um, when a new Supreme Court justice is appointed, he or she is appointed for life. But a president may only be in office for a few years, but their Supreme Court selection will be there for a generation, influencing the social direction of the country.
Yeah.
Number three is that vote is to vote protect your body. A woman's ability to get an abortion in the United States and in other countries, for example, in Poland, is a result of a slim majority on the Supreme Court. That could easily change if pro-life leaders get enough power. Our leaders will decide who will get health insurance and how much taxpayers will pay to provide it. The issue impacts on your health, your pocketbook, or both. And you should vote then so you can have a say in what happens.
Okay.
Number four is that you should vote to secure your safety. Terrorists and criminals threaten to harm you and your family. Different leaders have different opinions on how to protect us. At the same time, some people think that police and military forces have too much power, and you should choose leaders who you feel will protect your life and your civil rights. Number five, you should vote to save the world. Global warming and environmental issues impact us all. And these concerns must be balanced with economic factors and our energy needs. Stand up for what you believe by voting. Number six is to vote to keep your money. Um, government collects taxes. They take a significant chunk off of every paycheck and from profits on your investments to provide critical services such as police and roads. You may feel that some are worthy of our tax dollars while others are not. And you should vote for politicians who will who will make who will make reasonable taxes. Number seven is to vote for the next generation. We make decisions we make today impact our children, grandchildren, and other people. You should make choices that will improve their lives by voting. It also sets a good example and encourages civil responsibility. And the last reason is to is vote or lose your right to complain. If you don't bother to cast a ballot, you can't whine about problems with the world. A society must cast ballots for decisions to be made, and together we decide our future. And you can be part of that future by voting. That's all.
That's all. Okay, like, could you please tell us about the processes of voting here in Russia? Like before
On the first,
before the
on the
campaign?
1st of July, all people who were 18 years old could vote, and I have participated in the process of voting.
And did you know?
The vote,
Okay.
this voting was connected with the amendment of Russian Constitution.
Okay.
Uh,
So
and
about what?
people
About like the law or the amendment about what?
about people should vote for or against the amendment in the constitution.
Okay. So
People
you
go to schools and there they vote and put the paper into the box. Then all the boxes are collected and special people collect the votes and count which how many people voted and what they voted for.
okay. They agree or disagree on this law or on this amendment, yeah. So, okay. As a student, do you have any question concerning like voting to Elizaveta?
Uh, what if not a single vote? What if not a single candidate represents me at all? Why should I bother voting?
I'm not a politician, but I believe that you cannot you can как это испортить? You can
Испортить farm.
spoil the paper.
So cast a protest vote?
I believe that in Russia, when you cannot vote for any candidate, you should spoil the paper.
So for how many years, or for one or for two terms, the president will be in his place? Like for how many years? For 5 years, 4 years,
Since this July is forever.
forever. That's bad. This is a dictatorship. So like. We had also a dictator in our country, but now we got like a revolution last year, and now uh, we have like new government with new rules. Like in every 4 years, we're gonna have new president. This is also amendment or some correction in the law. So here, like also I saw in Belarus, they protested against their president, but till now, yeah, the situation is not good right there.
It seems like people in Belarus have made a better choice than just voting.
I don't think so because like even the candidate fled the country. Now they are in Europe. Like the candidate, there were three women's, but yeah, the dictatorship is not good at all. I think every 4 or 5 years should be a new president to to make changes at least. This is my point of view. Like, what do you think about this? Because some of you maybe will be a president of Russia. Maybe? No? No one... Никто не хочет быть президентом, нет? Из вас? Нет?
I might be a leader of a political party at best. I'm not looking for presidentship.
Okay. So, okay, voting is играет большую роль в нашей жизни. Yeah, so who gonna be the next for today? Like topics?
If no one steps up. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mm, can you see it?
Yeah. Now we can see.
I got a really unusual topic for my presentation.
Okay.
This is abortion from the religious, secular, and cultural aspects.
Yeah.
Um, First of all, I guess we should precise what is abortion and how does it look and feel like for women. It may be used as extreme measure to stop or to terminate your pregnancy. Big amount of women nowadays use abortion for different reasons. Some of them just got pregnant unwantedly. They want to get rid of pregnancy because they realize their inability to raise and uh, to raise their children properly. They may don't have father for them, for he or she don't have money, stable job, and lack of safety or means to protect themselves from unwanted pregnancy. Also, we shouldn't forget about rape victims who desperately need an abortion. And in addition, some of women may use it because their fetus is sick, and in that case, that will be a medical abortion, which was prescribed by doctor for them.
Okay.
Abortion from the religious and cultural aspect. Um, Now we can see a map. I decided to show how strict law can be in different countries, and we have available abortions in almost all the Europe, UK, Russia, USA, Australia, India, and in some countries in Africa.
Okay.
But if we see more precisely to European part of the map, we will see that abortions are forbidden in Poland and Ireland. In Poland now we have lots of meetings and women's boycotts
Okay.
about prohibition of abortions. We may notice that in religious countries, Ireland, the Roman Catholic, Poland is strict Catholic too. Most of sacred books of various religions, for example, Holy Bible, prohibit abortions because they accept a fertilized cell as a child and as a alive being.
Yeah.
Also, traditions as important as religion because abortion is forbidden in really family orientated countries. Here we can talk about Ireland because Ireland's value family more than British people, for example. And getting rid of pregnancy may be accepted as a try to ruin your family and family values.
Okay.
Abortion from the secular aspect. I was talking about Poland above, so abortions were forbidden there recently, and now we have lots of meetings because Poland women want to keep abortions safe and legal. I think situation here is rough because it's almost one country in Europe where it's forbidden. For example, Ireland's can go to the UK to get abortion.
Okay.
Democracy and secular government should provide freedom of choice to everyone and for women who want to do abortion as well. My opinion, I firmly believe that abortion should be allowed because it's basic freedom of choice, which was told before. Some governments try to increase the birth rate by abortion prohibition. It's really poor choice because um, that moms who didn't get abortion won't be happy with their parenting. They will suffer from postpartum depression. And their children will be more antisocial if they don't have enough money for raising a child.
Yeah.
Also, abortions will be done anyway. Some women will get rid of pregnancy by any means, really, and prohibition will just cause more deaths due to inappropriate means and bad doctors. In conclusion, I would like to repeat that it's really our body and our choice. I'm not telling abortion is a good option for women. This is obviously some kind of stress for your organism, but you definitely need to have an opportunity to do whatever you want with your pregnancy, in my opinion.
Okay.
Well, that's all.
So, okay. So, do you have any question concerning abortion? No questions? So, okay, thank you so much, Alona. So, who gonna be the next?
Well, I could be them.
Okay, Vasily.
Give me a moment to launch the presentation. Can you see the presentation?
No, we can't see anything.
And now?
No, no.
And now?
Like, загрузится, наверное.
Я вижу.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. So today I got a presentation on the topic of capital punishment and the various other things in relation to it.
Okay.
So first of all, what is capital punishment? To those that don't know, capital punishment is death penalty, basically. It's execution by various means, ranging from hanging to shooting to stoning in some cases even. It's a complex topic, and it's so. First of all, we need to figure out if there is any positives to this act, since it's been done before, then therefore there must be a reason for that. So the proponents of capital punishment claim that it can deter other perpetrators of activity that the capital punishment is intended to dissuade from repeating this activity. So if a rapist gets executed, this, in theory, at least according to them, should deter other rapists from committing the act, or hide it better, I guess. And it provides an adequate moral retribution to some crimes that are particularly heinous, particularly immoral, such as rape, mass murder, genocide, in some cases also treason, etc., etc. There is there is also a lot of negatives to the capital punishment. For example, the biggest one that I can tell is that there have been quite a lot of cases where the convicted party was found not guilty after they were executed. So if they were sentenced for life in prison, they would be released, but you cannot unkill a killed person. Other people also cite the violation of human rights, since the primary right for a human is a right to life, and the capital punishment obviously violates that right. They also say that capital punishment is impractical in general. In lots of studies, it has been found that a more soft approach on crime in general tends to be better. As can be seen, for example, in Scandinavian countries, which have notoriously lenient criminal law, even to the point where some of their worst offenders are allowed almost a life of luxury in the detention centers in hope that they will be reformed instead of just punishing them. And in some cases, in the countries where it matters the most, for example in USA, studies also note the potential social and racial bias against the convict. So, for example, a white criminal that could have gotten the death penalty would be significantly less likely to get the death penalty than a black convict. Naturally, from what I've said, my personal position is that capital punishment is definitely just not practical at all. It's not rational. It's driven primarily by emotion, and therefore it has no place in legal system whatsoever, because it has no positives and only has drawbacks in practice. So, what's the historical background of the capital punishment? It was fairly popular in the past. A lot of countries, a lot of civilizations had a form of capital punishment, and those usually were hangings, stonings, quarterings. In some cases, those were even gladiatorial fights. In some cases, those were beheadings, and all of that depended on the skill of the executor too. So, for example, if the executor failed to make a clean cut, the victim of the execution would die in horrible pain. Naturally, people started noticing that this is a little inhumane, it's a little terrible, and they started replacing these executions with more humane executions. For example, ironically, the symbol of the bloody French Revolution, the guillotine, was actually designed to make executions less painful for the victim. As a side effect, it made these executions also easier to perform. Therefore, it became a symbol of the revolution. But other humane executions end up being the firing squad executions. Hangings also were changed to cause a high drop, and this is to avoid the victim of the execution from suffocating, because once they drop from a sufficiently high height with the rope on their neck, instead of suffocating, they just break their neck and sever their spinal cord, dying immediately. And lethal injections are one of the latest humane, in quotes naturally, the latest humane way of execution, which is mostly practiced in the United States.
Yeah.
So the current trends of the capital punishments is, in my opinion, are positive. Globally, they're being abolished in almost all of the modern countries, and even those that keep the use, and most of the countries that did keep the death penalty use it much more sparingly. Most countries did indeed do this, with notable exceptions, for example, of USA and China, two of the most economically powerful countries in the world. United Nations is pushing for the final ultimate abolition of this bloody practice, and they don't bind the countries to stop using death penalty, but they encourage them by encouraging them to use moratoriums, which is not a prohibition per se of the execution, but a dissuasion from it. For example, in the Russian Federation, the death penalty is not prohibited. It's reserved for especially heinous crimes, but Russia does have moratorium on that, which dissuades our legal system from using it. And we haven't had a death penalty in decades. So that's it for my short presentation on this topic.
Okay, thank you so much, Vasily. So, how do you get a Russian saying "Oka za oka"?
It's I think it's not practical. It just is extremely emotional, but not deeply practical. It's also not just a Russian thing because there is an eye for an eye in English languages,
Yeah,
but there is a continuation for that. An eye for an eye makes the entire world blind, which is quite a powerful statement in this case.
yeah. So, like, how do you think about if you saw like the movie The Green Mile, Ziliona Emilia? Do you
I
think,
probably
yeah?
I didn't see the movie.
Oh, you didn't see the movie. Okay, because also it's about the punishment, capital punishment, by using electricity. Yeah, so okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, as a student, do you have any question to Vasily about the capital punishment and new trends in the world? No one has. So, okay, thank you so much, Vasily.
My pleasure.
So, as a student, who gonna be the next? Who will be the next? And it will be
Я могу.
okay. Хорошо. Давайте.
Мгм.
Алина.
Um, I'm going to tell you about social media. Um, Social media is a waste of time or an important communication medium. Um, First of all, what is social media? Social media can be defined as an array of internet-based platforms which promotes and enhances the sharing of information. Um, on the second, social media is a platform where content is created, distributed, and shared by individual users on web. Um, there are different types of social media.
Okay.
Um, Social network, like Facebook, Twitter, media sharing networks like Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, discussion forums like Reddit, bookmarking and content creation networks, blogging networks, social shopping networks. Um, Social media is a powerful communication medium. Um, I think social media is good, and it is not a waste of time. Firstly, social media um, make social connections. Social media provide a convenient way for people to connect with their friends. Um, Friends use social media to explore. People also use social media to explore their interests and connect with their community, which help them develop existing relationship with like minded peers. Social media also makes it easier for people to make new friends, as they don't have to deal with the stress that comes from meeting new people face to face. Um, One of the benefits of social media is the ability to overcome ge- geographical barriers.
Okay.
Using social media to keep in touch with friends who live in different cities, states, or country is a great way for ensuring a relationship doesn't suffer because of distance. Secondly, social media mm, is a helpful tool for dealing with problems. Um, there are many ways in which people can communicate online while staying anonymous. Join Reddit. Um, Shy people who often feel um, of craft in society might use this platform to express themselves. On social media, it's either to find someone who's got the same problems and with whom one can talk and be listened to. Um, and the third reason of helpful social media is that people can use it for education. Um, Students often use social media to share information about school assignments, as well as to organize their time with their homework. Um, Facebook groups, for example, present a common mode of communication and for exchange of ideas. Um, there are even schools that embrace social media as a teaching tool and find that it is a necessary resource in education.
Okay.
Um, that's all.
That's all. So from your point of view, like one-to-one communication, and I mean like when you meet a person, not like online, uh, like what the effective way, what the best way to communicate online, like or in face-to-face communication.
I think the best way to communicate is communicate offline, um,
Why?
because you can see people in real life and see his or her emotions, while
While
online it is not always possible to see and to feel real thoughts of people.
yeah. So, okay. As a student, do you have any questions to Elena about social media?
I've got one.
Okay.
Do you have one favorite platform, social media, or do you use all of them?
Um, My favorite platform, it's probably Telegram because um, you can communicate with your friends there, and also it is mm, you can find any content. This like films, music, YouTube video, and for me is more um,
Convenient.
for me it's more comfortable to do it in one platform.
Okay. That means it is easy
Yes.
to use, yeah? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think also in Telegram there are many channels that if you like join the group or something, you will get many videos from YouTube, from other from other platforms also. But the choice is yours if you join the particular group. So, but it is really easy to use. Yeah, it's good platform. So okay. Uh, do you have any question again, to Elena? Students? So we gonna have okay. If you don't have any question, thank you so much, Elena, for this presentation, and will have we will have break for 12 minutes. After that, we will continue. Okay. So have a nice break and see you after break. Добрый день, дорогие студенты. Надеюсь, вы уже you took the break in a great like instance. Hello, are you here, everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, we will be continuing our today topics. So, as I told you yesterday, today we're gonna have test because we should finish like the first month because this is the last lecture or the last seminar for this month, and I will be sending you the marks today, like after the test. Okay. Firstly, we will be continuing our topics. Who gonna be the next for today?
I can be the next one if you will share the presentation I've sent you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wait a moment. Okay.
Okay.
So can you see the presentation? Yeah.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. So
Celebrity endorsement is a highly effective strategy to gain consumers' interests and brand loyalty in a cluttered marketplace. Celebrity endorsement increase awareness over companies' advertising, create positive feelings towards brands, and are perceived by consumers as more entertaining. The conceptual framework was tested using a field experiment. Data were collected using a intercept approach at a shopping center. Results suggested endorser credibility has an indirect impact on brand equality. equity. When this relationship is mediated by brand's credibility and in support of past findings, the present study shows that a celebrity endorser should be one who is perceived as credible based on their attractiveness, expertise, and trustworthiness. Also, that even a moderately low credibility endorser provide to be able to build the brand. Mark Bonchik, a founder of Orbit Plus.com, says a celebrity endorsement is a signal or a trigger. If they see a celebrity they like endorsing a product, that sends the signal that the product is a good one. It's a part of consumers' conversation around the brand or product. You can switch the slide.
Okay.
Yeah, the next.
The next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Just. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, and the next one after this.
Okay. Не знаю, не хочет как-то. After this slide, so
No. The previous. This is the last one.
this is the last one. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I need
wait.
like previous. And the previous.
The previous one.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a moment.
Like I need the third one.
Okay. Не знаю, что случилось. So long-term celebrity deals.
And one more before this one.
Before this, okay. So, okay.
No, до этого, который был третий слайд. Я имею в виду, если считать от первого.
Хорошо, сейчас просто не знаю, что...
А может быть, вы могли бы заскринить как бы слайды и показать их как фото?
So, sorry for this technical problem or technical issue. Now,
Yeah, this one. Thank you so much.
okay, so
There are different types of celebrity brand endorsement deals. A one-off endorsement deal means the celebrity is only expected to wear or use your brand's product for one event. This can be at an event, a public appearance, or even just a post on their social media account. You can switch the slide.
okay.
Um, In some cases, rather than formally hiring a celebrity to endorse their products, brands will simply send free products to a bunch of different celebrities, often relying on a PR agencies with celebrity contacts to perform their outreach. Long-term deals are less common, but there are some cases where brands recognize a celebrity's staying power and are willing to commit to them long term. Because it can be difficult to predict which celebrities have staying power and might fade. In the near future, most brands tend to stay away from long-term deals. Sorry, but we still see. Yeah, it's okay. This slide is fine.
Okay.
Um, you can.
Again.
Yeah, the next. Yeah, this one. It's important to give serious consideration before seeking a celebrity endorsement. It's important to select a celebrity that matches the brand well. They should be considered attractive, whether that is physical, intellectual, lifestyle, or competence. Celebrities should also have a positive reputation before they endorse a brand. If consumers are not convinced that celebrities are sincere about an endorsement, it can negatively impact the brand. Celebrities who endorse too many products may lose celebrity recognition. or credibility with the public. So in some cases, a celebrity can overshadow a brand and detract. Uh, Ой, прошу прощения. Сейчас. О, я прошу прощения за эти звуки.
Ничего страшного, ничего страшного.
And conclusion, I would say that celebrity endorsements and branding can significantly increase sales and attract a big auditorium. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for this presentation. So, do you have any question to Anastasia, to Nastya? Fire alarm. So, as a student, you don't have any question to Anastasia? No one? No one has. Okay. So, thank you so much, Nastya. So who gonna be the next? Who will be the next? Никто не хочет.
Я могу.
Хорошо. Давайте.
Так, сейчас. Видно?
Нет, нет, ничего не вижу.
Нет?
Сейчас видно.
Видно? My topic is why is internet safety important. First, it's obscenity. Obscenity is rampant on the internet. So there's a lot of content online that is obscene, vulgar, or immoral. So people need to be protected from seeing them, as it will be a bad influence. People should use a safe search engine which blocks inappropriate content. It is very important for the. Next is phishing. Phishing is a way in which criminals get sensitive information like username, password, phone number, address, and etc. It is usually done by emails or chats. It can be dangerous if a person ends up clicking on the link in the email sent by such criminals. They may trick people to reveal their private information. Next, it is malware. Malware is a piece of software that is written with the intent of damaging devices and stealing information. Viruses, trojans, spywares, and etc. People can click on a link which can lead to downloading of software and email attachments containing viruses or other malware.
Kim,
Yeah,
I can't see anything. Like I can't see your presentation. Now
you can.
I could see
no,
the presentation now. I could see it.
now I can see. Yeah, yeah. So
You can
okay.
see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, next is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is bullying that takes place over digital devices like cell phones, computers, and tablets. People can end up interacting with the cyberbully through chats and emails. It usually results in harassment of a person and affects their physical and mental health.
Okay.
Next is scams. Scams involve hiding information or providing incorrect information for the purpose of tricking victims. Online scams can come in the form of contents, selling free stuff, lotteries, selling designer clothes on discount, free music, free ringtones, etc. Their purpose is to lure the child for some time and collect personal information and steal identities. Scam has become a big challenge for the online safety of people. Also, I'm going to tell you about Personal Information Protection Act. The Privacy and Electronic Documents Act is a regulation governing the handling of sensitive information in Canada. It is a Canadian law that relates to data privacy. It governs how private sector organization collects, use, and disclose personal information in the course of commercial business. In addition, the
Okay.
Act contains various provisions to facilitate the use of electronic documents. Um, it became law on 13 April 2000 to promote consumer trust in electronic commerce. The act was also intended to reassure the European Union that the Canadian privacy law was adequate to protect the personal information of European citizens. Also, I want to tell you about Edward Snowden case.
Okay.
Edward Snowden is a computer scientist who previously worked for the US intelligence services. He has dropped out of high school, but his computer skills earned him a job with the CIA and the National Security Agency.
Okay.
Uh, he calls himself a system administrator. In fact, he was an ordinary IT specialist, but with great opportunities due to his work for the US state security. In a video on The Guardian, he says that he could see everything by monitoring NSA networks and controlling file transfers. He somehow had access to a huge amount of classified documents and correspondence. Unlike regular agents who have access to such documents once or twice in their careers, privileged sysadmins see outrageous things all the time. So, long story short, Edward Snowden leaked the information that he has uh, all the information that 1 second.
Okay.
He said that U.S. Spy agency collect phone records. This scandal broke in June 2013 when the Guardian newspaper reported that the U.S. National Security Agency was collecting the telephone records of tens of millions of Americans. So the paper published the secret court order directing telecommunications company Verizon to hand over all its telephone data to the NSA on an outgoing daily basis. So that report was followed by revelation in both the Washington Post and Guardian that the NSA tapped directly into the servers of 9 internet firms, including Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Yahoo, to track online communication in a surveillance program known as PRISM.
Okay.
That's all. In conclusion, I can say that
Yeah.
that internet opens up the world for the users. We all know that every new advancement of technology is followed by hidden dangers and threats associated with the use. So the internet is also not an exception. It has its own pros and cons. Since it
Okay.
is accessed by children as well, it becomes important to know more about the safety and security aspects of it. That's
And
all.
that. Okay. So, what